Hello friends, the recent migration of prominent news anchors from India Today to NDTV has sparked widespread discussion. This migration reflects not just on individual career moves but also on the broader state of Indian news television. This shift involving high-profile journalists moving to a channel historically associated with credibility raises questions about the direction of the industry. Let us be clear, NDTV's credibility too is now history. So this is not a sign of journalists seeking platforms aligned with ethical journalism, but merely a reshuffling within a flawed system. Was this system ever flawless, or at least followed a semblance of journalistic ethics? Did it ever truly serve the public interest, or merely bowed to power? Let us go through the tumultuous history of Indian TV news, examining its highs and lows. September 15, 1959 witnessed the modest launch of Doordarshan, which started the narrative of India's first television broadcaster. Those were newly independent India's optimistic years. So Doordarshan was designed to promote national integration. It also provided educational content, agricultural advice, and tightly scripted news bulletins from a single transmitter in Delhi. But since Doordarshan was state controlled, it was natural that government priorities eclipsed journalistic ethics. News was less about informing and more about promoting the state's narrative, be it 5-year plans or national achievements. These national achievements could also be interpreted as the government's achievements. As if the state control was not enough, Doordarshan was subjected to suffocating censorship when Indira Gandhi imposed emergency in 1975, which lasted until 1977. Both Doordarshan and the print media turned into a mouthpiece for propaganda. However, there were some honorable exceptions in the print media that defied the censorship. But as the late journalist Vinod Mehta noted, in those days, the news was what the government said it was. Doordarshan's bulletins were carefully curated, devoid of dissent, and designed to maintain order rather than question it. Ethical journalism rooted in truth, independence, and accountability was nowhere to be found. Yet, Doordarshan was not without its merits. By the 1980s, satellite technology brought television to rural India, connecting a diverse nation through programs like Krishi Darshan and Chitrahar. These efforts fostered unity, but for news, the channel remained a loyal servant of the state. This set a precedent of sycophancy that would also echo through the decades. The 1990s marked a seismic shift. India's economic liberalization opened the airwaves to private players, breaking Doordarshan's monopoly. Channels like NDTV, which transitioned from a production house in 1988 to a 24-hour news channel alongside Z News of 1992 and Aaj Tak 2000, ushered in a new era. For the first time, Indian viewers had choices, and news was no longer a one-way street dictated by the government. The period promised the dawn of a golden age for Indian TV news. Channels embraced investigative journalism, live reporting, and bold interviews. NDTV under Pranay Roy's leadership became a guiding light of credibility. Viewers trusted Roy more than Doordarshan because his measured delivery was a stark contrast to their robotic bulletins. NDTV's Barkha Dutt's live frontline reporting during the 1999 Kargil War powerfully conveyed the war's human impact, shaping its legacy. TV news demonstrated the potential for upholding ethical standards of truth and public service through its role in informing, inspiring, and shaping national sentiment. Although imperfect, this period demonstrated the potential of prioritizing journalistic accountability over loyalty. Unfortunately, today's anchor migration to NDTV signals the last rites for NDTV's past reputation of integrity. But the 1990s promise unraveled in the 2000s. The rise of television rating points or TRPs transformed news into a high stakes game of viewership. The competition between channels extended beyond informing. Success was redefined by sensationalism, screaming headlines, dramatized debates, and exaggerated stories replaced balanced reporting. The 2008 Mumbai attacks highlighted the risks associated with this trend. Other channels drew criticism for live broadcasts deemed reckless and helpful to terrorists by revealing security details. In contrast, NDTV was careful in reporting. Ethical lapses such as airing unverified claims and putting lives at risk stemmed from the quest for exclusive footage. It was a moment that demanded introspection, but the industry doubled down on spectacle. The 2010 Neera Radia tape scandal further eroded trust. Leaked conversations revealed top journalists, including NDTV's Barkha Dutt, allegedly acting as intermediaries between corporates and politicians. The controversy highlighted a nexus between media and power. Journalist P. Sainath observed, and I quote him, "The media has become the massage, not message, massage," unquote. The idealism of the 1990s gave way to a more cynical reality. Psychophancy had evolved from overt state loyalty to subtler corporate political alliances. Ideally, the reported anchor migration should signal a rejection of this sensationalist culture. Unfortunately, it is a deal between the NDTV's new capitalist owners and the anchors that points to an intensified struggle for TRPs. Since Narendra Modi's rise in 2014, Indian News TV has entered a polarized and contentious phase. The term Godi Media, meaning lapdog media, has gained traction. This term is used to describe channels like Republic TV, Times Now and Z News accused of amplifying the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party's narrative while marginalizing dissent. The newsrooms have aligned closely with political agendas at the expense of objectivity. While India battled oxygen shortages and hospital overcrowding during the COVID-19 crisis, numerous news sources highlighted government successes such as vaccine rollouts and Modi's addresses, downplaying the severity of the situation. NDTV's Ravish Kumar stood out, using the show Prime Time to highlight systemic failures. He warned, and I quote him, "The media is not just reporting the news, it is manufacturing consent." Not just content, consent. His principled stance made him a target of trolling and threats, underscoring the cost of dissent in a polarized landscape. Still, signs of defiance have emerged. Even under government pressure, The Wire, Scrollin, and some TV journalists gave the farmers' protests of 2020 and 2021 thorough and insightful coverage. Unfiltered perspectives from independent YouTubers and ex-users filled in the missing information. The anchor migration to NDTV raises questions. Is NDTV still the bastion it once was? Or has the industry's polarization made neutrality impossible? The rise of social media since the late 2000s has reshaped the news ecosystem. Platforms like X, YouTube, and WhatsApp have democratized information. Reporting and giving opinions is now possible for all smartphone users. Dalit activists, rural journalists, and citizen reporters whose voices are often marginalized, have been given power, bypassing traditional gatekeepers. During the 2019 and 2024 general elections, several YouTube-based platforms like News Laundry and The Wire offered raw, real-time narratives. This freedom, however, breeds chaos. The rapid spread of misinformation obscures the boundary between fact and opinion. The spread of divisive narratives via WhatsApp forwards and viral videos is forcing TV news to compete with unverified content. So, with the change in the news environment, social media's influence complicates the path to ethical journalism. Has Indian TV news ever truly upheld journalistic ethics? The evidence is contradictory. Examples like the Kargil war coverage and early NDTV's balanced reporting highlight journalism's positive impact on society. Investigative programs such as Tehelka, which briefly had a TV presence, revealed corruption, demonstrating that ethical journalism could confront powerful entities. We know the fate of Tehelka. Yet, the downsides are difficult to overlook. The TRP-driven sensationalism of the 2000s, the paid news scandals of 2009, documented by the Press Council of India as a cancer on democracy, and the Godi Media trend reveal a persistent flaw. And what is that flaw? When faced with political, corporate, or financial pressure, many outlets discard principles without hesitation. People often give up ethics for profit or influence, or even for their survival. The Doordarshan era's overt sycophancy has morphed into a more brazen version. The inclination to serve power has become a lucrative habit. What lies ahead for Indian TV news? The rise of digital media offers optimism. Independent outlets and citizen journalists are gaining ground, and audiences are increasingly skeptical, demanding accountability. However, challenges abound. Government regulations like the 2021 IT rules, and that is information technology rules, and pressure on advertisers threaten press freedom. Polarization continues to fracture the media landscape, with channels catering to ideological niches rather than the broader public. As media analyst Sevanti Nainan observes, and I quote him, "The media in India is at a crossroads. It can either reclaim its role as the fourth estate or continue down the path of sycophancy and sensationalism. The choice rests with journalists, but also with viewers who shape demand." The migration of anchors from India Today to NDTV is more than a headline. It's a window into the complex journey of Indian TV news. From Doordarshan's state-controlled origins to the promise of privatization, the sinking into sensationalism in today's polarized Godi Media era, the aspiration for genuine news media has been flattened by compromise. Did it ever follow journalistic ethics? Yes. Courageous movements such as the Kargil war coverage and Ravish Kumar's reporting exist, but they are rare in a media landscape usually biased towards the powerful. But let us not lose hope. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Whether Indian TV news bends towards ethics depends on journalists willing to take risks and viewers who refuse to accept less than the truth. So as you tune in tonight, don't just consume, but question, challenge, and demand better. In a democracy, the media's strength lies in our hands. If you have liked this video, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Thank you.